for CMPE281 personal project, NoSql partition tolerance. I've selected MongoDB for the demonstration of CP databases. The architecture that I've chosen is as such. I've created 5 MongoDB instances in private subnets in separate availability zones. I SSH into them using my jump box, and all this lies inside my CMPE281 VPC. I've installed Mongo on these instances, and I've shared the details in my project journal. I'll quickly show my instances. These are my instances that I've created. This is the jump box. The security group rules are as follows. Moving on to the test cases. I've already SSH'd into my jump box and logged into my MongoDB instances. My first test case is to check the status. I see that all the nodes are up and running, with the third node being the primary. Okay, let's try and insert a value now. The value got successfully inserted. Now we'll try and read it from other nodes. We are able to read it on the first node, as all these have been set in a replica set. So the data gets replicated on all the nodes. Next, we'll test the system under partition tolerance. I'll exit them to set rules. I'll block node 1 and 2 on node 3, 4, 5. And node 3, 4, 5 on node 1 and 2. Now let's log back in and see how the system behaves. I'll run the status check here. We see that node 1 and 2 will be blocked as they lie in the separate side of the partition. And we see on node 1 that node 3, 4, 5 are not in a reachable state as we have blocked them here. Now let's try and add a value and see if we are able to read it on the other side of the partition as well. So we are able to see the write entry here. But we are not able to see a new write entry created here, as it's on the other side of the database. From these and remove the rules. Now if we log back in, we'll see that the data has been successfully we will observe that the data is consistent now. As you can see, the object ID is same as the one created in the last write, so the data is consistent now. I will also try and bring down the primary and see what happens. Let's try this. We see that okay, we see that the third node is not reachable or healthy as we have separated it from the rest. We also observe that the fourth node has become the new primary. I've chosen Riak for the same. Riak is not a master-slave system. All nodes can read and write data. To resolve conflicts from writes on different nodes, Riak uses bucket properties. For the architecture, I've chosen the CMPE281 VPC. I SSH into my jump box and then SSH into the 5 Riak nodes that I've created in private subnets in different availability zones. These are my Riak nodes, and this is the security group that I've set up. Cluster and see how they perform. Let's check their status once. We see that all the nodes are up and running with the node 1 being the coordinator. I've already created a bucket type called subjects and activated it. Let's test the properties once. Yes, we're able to connect. Let's test bucket properties. Okay. Yes. Now let's update the bucket properties. We are updating them such that allow mult is set to false. It is true by default. We are now posting the data and we will try and get it from other nodes. So as you can see, we are able to access the data from other nodes as it gets replicated. Now let's go ahead and test partition tolerance. We will block node 1 and 2 on node 3, 4, 5 and block node 3, 4, 5 on node 1 and 2. Now let's see if we can post a new value on Riak 1. Let's try and see this if this is working. This will not post as it is blocked on node on the second node. This gets posted as they are on the same side of the partition. Let's try and post this. It gets posted as we are posting it on the other side of the partition. Let's do this. We get data from Riak 1 here. Now let's remove this. And also these from node 1 and 2. And see, also check the status ones. So the partition has been removed now. Let's try and access the data we posted. From different nodes. As you can see, the data has been replicated after the partition and we are able to read it now from different nodes. Thus, we observe that the data gets replicated on both sides of the partition. This completes my submission for my personal project. Thank you.